Get Rich Education is brought to you by Audible. More than 150,000 audiobooks to choose from for your mobile device.
Welcome to Get Rich Education with Keith Weinhold, giving you information and ideas on the investment that has turned more ordinary people into millionaires and billionaires than anything else, and can provide you with more wealth and happiness than you ever thought possible. Now, here's your host, investor, entrepreneur, business owner, and educator, Keith Weinhold.
Welcome to Get Rich Education, Show 26. I'm your host, Keith Weinhold. With listeners in 108 countries, it's the show where I'm just giving away all my best investment experience because I want you to be wealthy. It's essential. The middle class is disappearing. These are the type of investments I've done myself, and most anyone can do them. It's the show about doing the right thing, and only then do you concern yourself with doing things right. Hey, I'm glad that you're here, but you're not here for me, you're here for you. Get Rich Education exists so that I can help make you wealthy. Every week, I'm either bringing you a new investment knowledge or idea, a great guest, or some motivation. So look, I'm grateful to have had so many great guests on the show lately, but from time to time, I want to be on the microphone, run out in the open field, and have a discussion with you because I very much want you to be wealthy. I want to be here to help you turn yourself into the best version of yourself. This show is partly motivated by the Robert Kiyosaki premise: don't live below your means, expand your means. And look, you can listen to ideas from the traditional consumer credit world, and like I say, they can keep you from losing, but you'll never win. A lot of people that consume that type of media are really just looking for affirmation, not information. When you're physically and emotionally invested in the herd mentality of doing things right rather than doing the right thing, like working overtime, saving money, and paying down debt, which is actually an instrument of arbitrage and leverage, well, then you're losing if you're paying that down. You're missing out in life. It's easier to feel affirmed than informed because those type of people are running with the herd and seeing everyone else around them fall behind by investing in their 401k and a well-diversified mix of mutual funds. That's why it feels normal to them. That's their herd. That's what makes it nearly impossible to live an extraordinary financial life. So if someone's got some of their money working for them and they haven't yet learned how to make other people's money ethically work for them, they will do a lot more work in their life and they won't be as happy and they won't be spending as much of their life playing wiffle ball with their kids or fishing with their family like you will. It's really remarkable how little people value their time. And they realize that they can't get that time back when it's too late in life for them to take snowboarding lessons, or it's too late in life for them to get that time back target shooting with their now late uncle. So here's the result of most people that say they value time more than money. People say that, but that's not reflected in their decisions. What's reflected in their day-to-day decisions is that they say yes to working overtime and they will put the quantity of their money ahead of the quality of their time. That's what they do in practice, although that's not what they say. You know, the result is that they die, and you could have just as well written on their tombstones 2 lines under their name. The first line read, "He worked," and the second line read, "A lot." He worked a lot. The story of your life and your investor life is written with every minute that you spend and every dollar that you spend. If you're here, you seek information, not herd affirmation. So I want you to open your mind today, because I'm going to put some thoughts inside it that have never been there before. The quickest way from poverty to wealth, yes, it is education, but it's also changing who your friends are. You are who you hang out with, your friends. The quality of your life is in direct relationship to the expectation of your peer group. I call that the law of conformity. If you hang out with 4 motivated, focused, productive people that are also Get Rich Education listeners, well, you're going to become the 5th. If you hang out with 4 friends that sit on the sofa, drink Diet Coke, and eat kettle potato chips and watch Grey's Anatomy, you're going to become the 5th. Most people major in minor things. They know so much about things that don't matter. Well, from time to time, you might have to selectively, edit your friends list over time if you want to be aspirational. Love your family, pick your friends. So who do you know that has both integrity and is aspirational? Seek them out. Upgrade your peer group, and you will resultantly have an identity shift. You really will. Well, how do you know which group is who? Well, the unmotivated group probably complains and assigns a lot of blame for everything, and they'd be more likely to say, life happens to me. I can't believe it happened again. Life happens to me. Well, the other group, the motivated group, they would say life happens for me. They're more grateful. If you do things in your life just to fit in with other people, you feel like you need to be externally validated by them. I feel that I need to be more internally validated, and if you're here, you probably do too. Hey, well, what's this have to do with buying your first fourplex or owning turnkey real estate in Memphis, Tennessee, or doing a 1031 exchange out of your 80-unit apartment building and into a 180-unit apartment building? Well, they're all expansionary depending upon your investor level. All 3 of those examples, they activate other people's money working for you, not just your money working for you. As Peter Sage would tell it, how do you know that you have room to be expansionary? All right, think about the life of a slug. A slug's life is spent munching on lettuce leaves and leaving sticky trails behind. Okay, that's pretty much the life of a slug. Now, a slug has no conceptual understanding of the life of an ant. The ant looks at the life of a slug and thinks, a slug? That's pathetic. I'm an ant. I have meaning in life. I'm part of a colony. I belong. It's all about order, structure, a hierarchy. I serve a queen. I really matter. What a much better life I have than a slug. I'm an ant. I have a purpose. Well, the ant crawls over the toe of a hen, and the hen thinks, stupid ant. I'm a hen. I'm where it's at. I matter. Now, an ant's life is all about pheromones. They're totally expendable toward serving a queen that they've never even met. I'm a hen. I get to strut around the farmyard. I've got freedom of will. I get to hang out with other hens. What a much, much better life than the life of an ant. Well, now the hen has no conceptual understanding that it's part of a poultry farm. It doesn't know that it's going to be slaughtered next week. The hen's awareness just isn't great enough. Well, us humans, we look at the hen and think, that's lunch. But we as humans have no conceptual understanding of what's the next level above us. It's not because us humans aren't smart. It's just that our awareness isn't big enough. Just like the slug doesn't have the awareness of the life of an ant, or an ant has no conceptual understanding of the life of a hen. So consider, what are the levels above us that we don't have any awareness of? Us as humans, we might be in the bottom 1% of awareness and intelligence of all beings. Now, at this moment, I've just made you feel quite small. I've just made myself feel quite small too. It's a reminder that we have unlimited space to expand to the upside and be that best version of ourselves. We do that by continually being who we are becoming. Your mind is a multi-billion-dollar asset. It is if you continually believe that it is. There is so much room for expansion as you always aspire to better and higher uses. If you begin to fill just a portion of that huge space above us, you will begin living a life of abundance. You'll see that there isn't any limit. That's why I suggest that you think and act abundantly in both investing and in life. Because as you can see, there is infinite achievement potential there for you. If you practice abundance in investing, you will naturally enhance your return on time invested. This is going to permeate into other elements of your life too. I'll give you an example. The other day, I had my friend Terrence come over and I let him check out my home gym. Now, I'm kind of a fitness freak and I was demonstrating some exercises to Terrence, including using some equipment that he just wasn't used to incorporating in his workout before. So, rather than just doing plain burpees, I was showing Terrence how to do one-legged burpees with the BOSU. I got out the agility ladder, laid it on the home gym floor, and took him through some quick agility foot drills there. Well, after a few minutes of that, I let Terrence know that, hey, I've got to go. It was time for me to go to my appointment with my personal trainer at a nearby commercial gym. Well, Terrence was confused. He said to me, Keith, why don't you just stay here and work out? You've got this great home gym. He just took me through these great moves I've never seen before. He pointed out that I'm dressed for the gym and I already have energy right now. I've got all this great equipment right here in front of me. Well, I told Terrence, it's because that personal trainer at that gym does for me what I just did for you. See, my trainer Billy at the Elite Sports Performance Gym, he expands my content, context, checks my form, shows me things and exercises I've never even thought of. There's peers working out next to me at that gym too. They pull me up. They give me new workout ideas. That gym does for me what I just did for Terrence. So have an awareness that there's always something greater to expand to in investing and in life. Set goals that are really significant. You know how to set a significant goal? Set a goal where you don't even know of the steps that it takes to get there. Consider that if you already knew what steps it took to achieve your goal, well, then your goal's too small. Because where's the room for growth? Where's the room for growth if you already know the steps to get there? If you already know the steps to get there, that wouldn't be a worthy goal. You need to expand your existing comfort zone in order to achieve a worthy goal. So, hey, we're going to come right back with more on expanding that multi-billion-dollar asset known as your mind right after this. Get Rich Education listeners, how would you like the latest audiobook from Robert Kiyosaki, the #1 personal financial author of all time, for free? For my listeners, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. You can pick out any audiobook that you want. My pick is you really ought to read Robert Kiyosaki's new book, Second Chance, For Your Money and Your Life. It uses the lessons from the past and a brutal assessment of the present to prepare listeners to see and seize the future. Get yours now at audibletrial.com/getricheducation.
This is Rich Dad Advisor Tom Wheelwright. Listen to Get Rich Education with Keith Weinhold and don't quit your daydream.
Welcome back to Get Rich Education. I'm expanding your mind so that you can fill it with cash-flowing real estate or your favorite investment. I know how well people can live, so I don't want to see them operate within the status quo. And You don't need to be born with a great deal of intelligence to be a great investor. Often it's not the smart that get ahead, but rather it's the bold. Think about it, you've already won. Out of 400 million sperm, you're the one that made it. You've already won. If you shoot for the stars and miss and hit the moon, you're still going to be a high achiever because you thought big and aimed big in the first place. Your financial life is more than going to college or trade school, getting a full-time workaday job, working 30 or more years while investing in a lame 401k, and then do all that just to have an underwhelming retirement where you have limited options, lifestyle, and travel. Additionally, if you chose that soul-snatching path, you would have been reinforcing to your children that they do the same limiting thing. Aspiring to be more is like gaining congruence with the self-actualization level in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is the highest level. Are you familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs? You've probably heard of it before. Maslow was a psychologist whom proposed this model in the 1940s, okay? In Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there are 5 needs, and the more basic needs are at the bottom and they're met first. The lowest needs are physiological. You've got air, water, and food. The second one up is safety. That's things like security and good health. The middle of the 5 are love and belonging, like friendship and family. Then the second highest one, called esteem, that's basically just the need to feel respected. And the highest level on Maslow's hierarchy of needs is what we call self-actualization. And self-actualization, that is basically just summed up in what a man can be, he must be, or what a woman can be, she must be. Self-actualization is about realizing your full potential. That's at the top of the 5-layer pyramid. It's accomplishing everything that one can to become the most that one can be. So it helps to ask, what steps are you taking to be all that you can be? If you're going to cling on to managing all of your own rental properties for as long as you possibly can, you're not making your real estate business scalable. You're not aspiring to your best and highest use, and you're not meeting the self-actualization of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You're not going to be all of what you can be. In owning rental real estate, besides moving toward that top level of self-actualization yourself, you're also providing tenants with 4 other levels of Maslow's hierarchy. You're providing them with some of the physiological safety, a place for their feeling of love and belonging, and the esteem as they have a home. That's the value you provide to the marketplace. That's what you're doing when you provide clean, safe, affordable, functional housing to others. You should feel deserving that you have made other people's money work for you and entitled to being a profiteer. And on the exterior of the property, you have the ability to improve the look of a neighborhood, improving America or your home country one home at a time. So if you live anything less than Maslow's self-actualization, you would never become the best version of yourself and all that you could be. All right, now here's a paradigm. Lately, I've been helping some members of the local Filipino community. There are about 10,000 Filipinos here in my home city of Anchorage. Well, before they moved here to the U.S., they grew up how my wife grew up in the Philippines, in homes with cinder block walls and a dirt or concrete floor. They've never owned a car. They washed their clothing in the river. They've never seen a dentist. When they come to the U.S., those things are turning around for them now as they've emigrated from the Philippines here to Anchorage. In the Philippines, they had no employment prospects, and they lived in those same conditions that Americans would call poverty. Well, now that they have U.S. citizenship and they live here, they're grateful just to rent an apartment with modern plumbing and have the opportunity to trade their time for dollars. That's right, they deem it as a privilege to work full-time and overtime just to trade their time for dollars, something that we want to get away from, because they don't want to have to go back to living how they did in the Philippines. Well, some people would say that they're clinging, they're settling. They just come from a different mindset, and it's a real challenge for me to change their mindset. I ask them to consider not just to stop renting an apartment and to go buy a home, but to buy that fourplex and rent apartments to others and make money follow them as they start to create leverage in an asset and receive passive monthly income that they don't have to work for at the same time. I mean, for me to tell them, don't follow money, make money follow you, that doesn't resonate. Their thought process is like, don't follow money? What? I'm just so happy to have some money to follow. To ask them to consider focusing on making other people's money work for them, that's a completely alien concept because the newer immigrants have trouble just understanding making their own money work for them. Because to them, the only way money could possibly appear in their lives is if they trade their time for it. See, they deem working for money and following money as such a privilege that they cannot even imagine that a born and raised American could pay rent to them to make money follow them. That seems like a dreamland to them. Just like owning 8,000 to 10,000 rental units like Ken McElroy seems like a dreamland to, say, an intermediate level real estate investor. So the spark to improving either situation starts with thought, which leads to action, which leads to patterns, which in turn lead to a lifestyle. So, well, we've been thinking about how you're thinking here. Big thinking is the genesis of doing great things. And consider that we really only have so much time to think. Consider how valuable this time is. You know, so much of your 24-hour day is already consumed with needs like sleeping, eating, bathing. I mean, you need to use part of your discretionary time to think abundantly. Make time for that. So keep asking yourself, who's motivating you? Who's helping you pull yourself up? Who's inspiring you to a better and higher use? Who's the friend that's doing that for you? What's the podcast that's doing that for you? Who do you know that's aspirational? Where can you find someone that's aspirational? So don't spend so much of your time doing what you don't want to do just because the status quo approves it. People get so caught up trying to make a living that they forget to live a life. Well, that's not a life well lived. An abundance mindset, yes, it does need to be cultivated over a period of time as you educate yourself and get around the right people. It does take some time. You don't go to the gym once and get fit, you get sore. So spend some time thinking about how you're thinking. Next episode, we'll have a show that's more concrete and actionable. And hey, if you like this type of content and want to practice abundant thought to get you to the next investor level, then listen to Get Rich Education episode numbers 1, 2, 5, and 17. Okay, some have called that material inspiring. So don't just get rich. Live a rich life and have a positive impact on others by sharing your abundance with them and helping them discover their multi-billion-dollar asset, their mind. Armed with this new context, go out there and don't quit your daydream.
You've been listening to the Get Rich Education podcast, telling you what the wealthy won't tell you about real estate and investing. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to visit iTunes and leave your comments.
Nothing on this show should be considered specific, personal, or professional advice. Please consult an appropriate tax, legal, real estate, financial, or business professional for individualized advice. Opinions of guests are their own. Information is not guaranteed. All investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss. The host is operating on behalf of Get Rich Education, LLC exclusively.